In an absolute tragedy, at least 81 people, including 28 children, are dead after flash floods ripped through central Texas. Dozens more, many just kids from a summer camp, are still missing. The Guadalupe River surged to almost 30 feet in less than an hour. No warning, no alert, just devastation in the dark. And here's what's unforgivable. These deaths weren't just about bad weather. Texas had no flood warning system in place. None. In 2025, how is this even possible? I'll tell you how. That piece of shit Donald Trump gutted the very agencies meant to keep you safe. Since Trump took office, the National Weather Service has lost nearly a fifth of its staff. That's almost 20% of its staff. 2 top managers, including the person who's literally supposed to coordinate life-saving alerts. They're gone. If you fire the lifeguards, people drown. Then Trump acts all surprised. There were warnings about cutting the National Weather Service, but of course no one in Trump's administration listened.
Days out from what's forecast to be an above-normal hurricane season, scientists across the country are sounding the alarm over critical staffing shortages. Inside the National Oceanic and Atmospheric Administration, officials are scrambling to fill more than 150 critical National Weather Service roles, left vacant after sweeping cuts from the Trump administration. Overall, the service has lost 600 of its 4,000 employees since January. 5 former NWS directors calling it their worst nightmare in an open letter earlier this month, predicting understaffing could lead to needless loss of life.
So let's be clear. They were warned over and over again. Did it stop the firings? Of course not. In fact, Homeland Security Secretary Kristi Noem somehow found time between her Barbie cosplay sessions to serve up a word solid about modernising weather alerts. And the reality? The Trump administration left people more vulnerable than ever. And when grilled about the lack of warnings, all they got was bureaucratic nonsense and excuses.
If you appreciate this
system
content,
that was meant
hit those
to
like and
help
subscribe
people,
buttons.
it was meant to save their lives. Then they fired the experts, then claimed they would upgrade the technology. It's a bit too fucking late for that now, don't you think? But that's Trump for you. Burn down the house, then blame everyone but himself. What's the bet? And somewhere in all of this, somewhere along the line and at some point, he'll try to find a way to blame Biden.
I got updates at 7 o'clock. First one I heard. And I've heard updates throughout the week, but not before 7 o'clock in the morning. Wasn't that a fundamental failure of the federal government's responsibility to keep us safe?
Well, you know, my background is before I was in the secretary position here under the Trump administration, I was governor of South Dakota and served in Congress for 8 years before I was governor.
If you can't dazzle them with brilliance, bury them in bullshit.
And so I will tell you that for decades, for years, everybody knows that the weather is extremely difficult to predict, but also that the National Weather Service over the years at times has done well, and at times we have all wanted more time and more warning and more alerts and more notification. That is something, and one of the reasons that when President Trump took office, that he said he wanted to fix.
This is absolute utter nonsense. This is nothing but pure word salad.
And is currently upgrading the technology, and the National Weather Service has indicated that with that and NOAA that we needed to renew this ancient system that has been left in place with the federal government for many, many years, and that is the reforms that are ongoing there. You know, when your notification hit your phone, sir, I'm sorry I can't speak to when that is, but I do carry your concerns back to the federal government and to President Trump. And
Trump's administration, here we go again. Just riddled with excuse after excuse.
And we will do all we can to fix those kinds of things that may have felt like a failure to you and to your community members. But we know that everybody wants more warning time, and that's why we're working to upgrade the technologies that have been neglected by far too long to make sure that families have as much advanced notice as possible.
Now, Noam's word solid aside, the thing is, despite all these failures, Trump's 2026 budget actually wipes out funding for every single climate, weather and ocean lab. That's right, cut the National Weather Service into oblivion. Cut FEMA, cut the agencies that keep you safe during the worst disasters. And mark my words, many more of these disasters are coming. These services were put there for a reason, and it's to save people's lives. And all of this, it's all in the name of tax cuts for billionaires and political vendettas against climate alarmists. And the Supreme Court of Cowards, what are they doing? Well, sitting on their hands as usual. And now they're talking about FEMA as if they care, even while they're gutting it to shreds.
Department, what can be utilized, and of course FEMA is standing at an enhanced level right now, which means that they are plugged in to the State Operations Center. We are engaged, and then as this response goes forward, that their role will continue to be filled as it always is in these situations, and will be timely and responsive as to what the governor requests.
So here we are, another disaster, another round of useless thoughts and prayers, another White House photo op for Trump. And none of this had to happen. 81 people are dead, 28 of them are children, and many more are still missing. Because Trump and his Republican Party thought cutting essential weather warnings was better than cutting billionaire tax loopholes. The Supreme Court of cowards let it happen, choosing loyalty over law, silence over accountability. And now, as Trump rushes to Texas for his look at me moment, remember this: these deaths are not an act of God, they are an act of deliberate neglect. This is what happens when a government decides saving money matters more than saving lives. You want personal responsibility, Mr. Trump? Start by taking some. And to the Supreme Court of cowards, your job is to protect the people, not just the powerful. America deserves better than this. The lives lost can never and will never be replaced. But everyone can damn well remember who let this tragedy happen. If you like what we're doing here, just click one of these videos. Go on and treat yourself. Let me know your thoughts below. Agree or disagree, I'd still like to hear them. And if you fancy helping out, hit subscribe and give us a wee thumbs up for the algorithm. Really appreciate it, folks. Thanks for being here. I'll see you in the next one.